Hello everyone and welcome to another Speedpaint. In this video we're going to be doing a picture of Gwenpool, some fan art of Gwenpool. I read the comic I think like last year or like 2 years ago, and I really liked it. This is based off of my my experience with the initial run, the Unbelievable Gwenpool run, not a Gwenpool Strikes Back. I haven't read that yet, but I've heard good things about it. And I really like the character. I like the more silly side of Marvel, and playing with like the fourth wall and stuff. It's a fun character, and I wanted to do some fan art. I did a speed paint a few years ago, and this is sort of like an extension of that concept with like these comic book panels as the background. But rather than them being a backdrop, I decided to have them be incorporated into the picture. But as you'll see pretty quickly that this concept doesn't work out too well. It's interesting that I'm not using the panels feature in Clip Studio Paint rather than say, instead of just like drawing them like I did now. This is still me trying to get back into the habit of doing lined art. I think my issue right now is basically that I don't have good sketch foundations. I think there's a large importance with having a good foundation for your drawings, and in this one I don't really have that. I spend a lot of my time trying to make these decent circles for the heads and not enough time trying to figure out, you know, space for the head and space for the faces and stuff, and making sure the whole thing looks nice enough. It tends to lean towards more improvisation, which I like a lot in drawing, but also means that nothing's really planned out as well, you know? It's mostly just a case of like, it's just like a case of just winging it and not necessarily getting the results that you might have had you had a decent foundation, which is why when this kind of doesn't go as well, and I'm just resulting to lineless art, but not fully. This still ends up being a lined piece, even, which I'm happy about. I'm happy that I eventually went on to do the lined piece, but I also feel like it's also a lesson in scaling down your concepts. Basically, I realized that even though I liked the concept of having all these panels and stuff and having the different Gwenpools like showing off different parts of her personality and stuff, I realized that ultimately like the concept might have not have been fleshed out enough as a piece, and that maybe the composition wasn't really all that great. And I think that's fine. I think it's fine to sometimes let go of a concept and try and attempt to do something else. I think if you stick around too long with something, rather than actually improving it, you're just polishing up certain aspects of the piece rather than addressing actual issues. Like, I don't know, it's like for some of these drawings, there's like, it feels like there isn't necessarily a distinction between whether or not I want to go with a flat style or like a more fleshed out 3D style. And so it creates this sort of dissonance that I may not have necessarily wanted, which I think is it's something that's kind of challenging for me. I like there's certain art styles that that really inspire me, and it's that distance between like a flat style and the 3D style. Like for instance, some of my early inspirations for my art style were things like Peanuts and Calvin and Hobbes. Those were comics that I read a lot as a kid, and they have that flat comic book style, that newsprint style, and I really gravitated towards that style, the way the faces are drawn and stuff, how simple they are, but they're able to communicate a lot of personality and emotion. And so that's sort of what evolved into my art style. And obviously stuff like Adventure Time has a lot of influence in that, and also the UbiArt Rayman games are also inspirations as well. But I've also been really interested in My Hero Academia obviously you can tell with the amount of speed paints I've made on the comic. And I also really liked how, even though the art style seems pretty simple, it still feels solid. It still feels 3D, and it's been a dream of mine to try and figure out a way to incorporate that into my style, to incorporate this sort of classic cartoon style, but make it feel sort of solid. You know, it's hard to explain like an example of what I feel like that could work. I guess the one thing that I think comes to mind is maybe the recent Captain Underpants movie, I think, because it obviously has like a simplistic cartoon style, but because it's in 3D, every character feels like they have depth and weight. They feel like tangible, they don't feel flat. There's nothing wrong with flat styles. I actually like drawing in a flat style. I guess I really like how solid some characters can feel while still feeling cartoony and fantastical. I think this could have looked kind of nice in the Lineless style, but I think it was better for me to go with the line style because it's something that I'm working towards. Okay, so this is the part where I switch off my thing. I decided to just do one drawing of Gwenpool rather than just doing a whole bunch of them, and focused on using a lot of round shapes. I like how the weight is distributed around like the foot, like I guess you could say it's like leg armor or something. I really wish I could have kept to this idea. I really liked the idea of her holding the word balloons as actual balloons. It's probably one thing I miss about the concept, but I like it a lot. I really like this piece. I like the pen that I used, and I really like the shapes that I used a lot. I really wish I could have kept the word balloon concept. I actually had this idea for a while, even as far as the last Gwenpool speed paint that I did. I've had this concept for her, like the idea of her holding these word balloons as actual balloons, kind of like Mary Poppins or something. I've had that idea for a while. I'm still really disappointed I didn't make it work. I think it's fun. Maybe another piece. I like the goofy Mega Man shoes that I gave her. I think it's really fun. I don't know. I think it's cool that this character is popular and you get to see her and stuff. She was in Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 as one of the unlockable characters. I beat that game, but I didn't like 100% it. I wonder if she's gonna make any more appearances in other media. A big dream of mine was to maybe see if maybe she'd show up in like the Into the Spider-Verse sequel. They also said that they might be doing like TV shows and stuff. So if she shows up in like a Spider-Verse TV show, that would be really fun. I just think that like it'd be fun to see the concept of the character explored in another medium, because the whole setup is that she's a Marvel fan from the real world, and she gets transported to the Marvel universe, and since she's read all these comics, she knows everything about all these characters, even their like secret identities and weaknesses and stuff, and their history and everything. And I think that kind of concept would be really fun if that was applied to something like the MCU, or like a video game or something, or like a TV show, where you have this character who's seen these other characters, so she knows everything about them and about the universe, even though she doesn't necessarily have any powers. I think it's a really fun concept. I don't know how much they explore the concept in Gwenpool Strikes Back, but I've been meaning to try and take a crack at reading that comic. It sounds like a lot of fun. Once again, I'm really digging this piece. I like how round everything is. I could have probably made the line art a little bit cleaner, but I'm still really happy with it. I also really like the design, but I guess that's also you can extend that to Deadpool as well. Lots of neat colors and shapes. The one thing that always bugs me the most is that whenever you see fan art of this character, they never draw the cowl, which I think kind of adds to the character. They always draw her without her mask on, which, I mean, I understand to an extent. She has cool hair, she has the pink tips and stuff, but like, I don't know. I think it's a pretty major part of the character not to always exclude, you know? This is something that really bugs me a lot, right? It's the same thing that kind of applies to like Finn from Adventure Time. Really, the minute they showed off that he had blonde hair, nobody drew his hat. And I'm like, that's like the coolest part of his character design. How can you like not draw it? It's super cool. And I think this character design is pretty cool too. I feel like you gotta draw the mask. The mask is really cool. It's like drawing Spider-Man without his mask. It's like, yeah, it's probably easier, but it's like, it's not as cool. This part's alright. I don't keep any of these word balloons though. I'm still trying to figure out the doing more background stuff. I didn't want the backgrounds or the texture that I usually do with a lot of this stuff to overshadow the drawing and the coloring. I want to keep it pretty simple. I've been wondering if any people who draw have any sort of solution about lighting whites, like having characters who wear or who are like basically like chalk white. That's always been something that I think it's been a challenge. I have a few characters or a character or two that have a lot of white in their design, and it's been kind of a challenge to try and figure out how to light them, how to use lighting for those characters, because of course, like, you know, light hits white things, you know. I guess it'd be interesting to see if there's any sort of solution for that kind of stuff. I'm pretty happy with the texturing in this though. It's not too extreme. It's enough to give it make it interesting to look at. But I don't know, I'm happy with this, and I'm happy that I'm finally getting around to doing more line stuff. I think this is a fun piece, and maybe I'll take a crack at drawing some more Marvel or Gwenpool stuff in the future. Thank you for watching the video, and thank you for checking out my art. Have a nice day, and see you later. Bye-bye. If you liked the video, leave a comment and tell me what you thought about it. Also, if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can always know when I upload a video. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.